Welcome to another review by Pichot. This review is on the Demons Lexicon series, or the Demons series. I don't really know what to call it. It's by Rees Brennan. It's by an Irish author, but it's set in England, so it's not set in Ireland. But I read the first two books ages ago, like about 2 years ago, and I've just been waiting to read the third one for ages, and it's only recently that I managed to read it, and then I reread the first two again. And okay, first I'll say what it's about. So it's set somewhere in England, and it's mainly about two brothers, Nick and Alan, and Nick is the narrator of the first book, and they are aware of like the supernatural aspects of the world. So there are the bad guys are the magicians, because they summon demons to get power, and the demons then all they want to do is possess bodies. And Alan and Nick are aware of this, and they know that there's magicians hunting them, so they're like adept at using weapons, and they have knowledge of all this kind of supernatural world. And then someone turns up on their doorstep one day with a demon mark, and if you have a demon mark, it means there's 3 marks, and if you eventually get the 3rd mark, a demon can possess you. And so a brother and sister turn up, and Alan wants to help them. Nick doesn't really want to help them, and then Nick is just going mad because the only thing he cares about in the world is his brother, and this brother and sister just kind of bring trouble onto their doorstep. Yeah, so it's all about magicians and demons and these two brothers. So I have to say, I think it's a really, really well written series. It feels like a very complex and mature series, just with a lot of young characters. So they're all teenagers, but you don't get that young YA feel from it, which I really thought was a positive thing. There's always a sad feeling over the books for me though. I don't know, I can't explain it. But I really enjoyed the 3 books. So there's 3 books in the series, and that's that. I would love another one, but the author said no, we just have to imagine it in our heads. So the first book is the Demons Lexicon, and that's by Nick, his point of view, so one of the main brothers. The second book is from a different character's point of view, May. She's the kind of new girl they meet, so the sister of the boy with the demon mark. And the third book is from another character's point of view, who we meet at the Goblin Market. So the Goblin Markets is where all the kind of how supernatural people come to trade things. But yeah, a girl who works there, and that her name is Sin. So there's different characters narrating each book, and usually I hate that. But I got into the books before I knew that, so I kind of had to finish reading them, and I actually really enjoy the books. They're so witty and funny. Like, sometimes it was just hilarious. It has that dry, sarcastic humour that I love. One decision I don't agree with the author is that the narrator of the 3rd book, I just wish she did not pick that narrator. I think Nick, the main character of the first book, is just the most fascinating character. And you understand why as you read the first book. He's almost like a sociopath, because he doesn't understand human emotions. He understands anger, and that's about it, and he has this fierce protective side to his brother. But he can't understand why other people would bother getting to know other people, or he doesn't really understand love, and yeah, he's just a really fickle, complicated character, and I thought it was fascinating to read from his point of view. And in the second book, you get to see him a lot again, because May is with him for a lot of the book. But the 3rd book, it's like I wanted the narrator to like move her eyes more in the direction of other characters, because I wanted to know about them more and kind of less about her, unfortunately. So that would be the only kind of fault of the series for me, the narrator of the 3rd book. Besides that, I thought it was a really great series. The mother figure in the series is the older brother. The kind of selfless, heroic type is this kind of very petite, kind of quirky girl. The badass magical power person is this like geeky guy. So it's all those, like, they're going against the stereotype, and I find that really really nice that the author put a lot of thought into, you know, her characterization like that. Yeah, so I do recommend this series. I think it's just interesting and exciting and has really, really good characters, and I really enjoyed it. So I hope you check it out too. Okay, so now I'm going to do a spoiler review, and if you haven't read the books before, I suggest you switch off now. Okay, so as I said, like, Nick was the most fascinating character for me, and when you find out he's a demon, like, it makes it that much more powerful because it's from his point of view and as he's figuring it all out. And like, what I find when I was reading about Nick, I constantly wanted him to be more human than he is. Like, you constantly want him to be that kind of redeemable guy, and he's not. But I do think by the end of the third book, like, he did ask May out. That was really nice. And like, when you see his reaction to Jamie and May in the first book to the third book, it's strange because he's so protective of these two people, his friends. So I do think there's some redeemable human quality in him. Oh my god, I fell in love with Alan the child. And those flashbacks, oh my god, it was so sad and sweet and tragic at the same time. Like, this child, who's only about 3 or 4 years older than the baby, raising and loving and caring for this child, and being so patient and trying to teach him how to talk, and being the only loving person in this child's life. Alan's a strange character too. Like, he seems so nice and caring and the perfect boy from the outside, but he lies constantly and he's ruthless in a way. I loved May. I thought May was great. She was a great character and so brave and selfless, and yeah, and I loved her and Nick. Their relationship was brilliant, and that's why I didn't love Sin being the narrator of the third book, because I just constantly I wanted to learn more about May and Nick, and I think the author only skimmed the surface with those two. I think, like, I just wanted to discover more and more about those two, and they were just so interesting together. That's why I'd love another book to learn more about May and Nick as a couple. Like, wouldn't that be so amazing to read about? But no, the author said we just have to imagine it in our heads, because, you know, that's fun. I do think we got some great snippets though of May and Nick in the third book. Like, they came so far. There were just some scenes that were just so, like, sweet, like little things. Like, you know, at the school at the beginning of the third book when Sin got attacked, Nick automatically ran to May's school to help her because he knew that she'd probably get attacked as well. Like, that little type of thing. Or when he turned up at the market to help May dance because he didn't want anything bad to happen to her. And, like, you know, he wanted to help May get the pearl because he said, May wants it, so I want it for her. And they always had that, you know, fun, teasing, kind of sarcastic banter. And the sweetest line, I think, was when Nick decided not to burn down the world, and May was like, why? And he was like, I will not destroy the world because it has you in it. Isn't that, like, so sweet? And he's a demon, like, so coming from him. The author did a lot of like, she's on some blog or forum, and she did posted some deleted scenes from the third book, The Demon's Surrender. So I have the link to those deleted scenes down below. She also posted a good few free online short stories associated with the series, and the link to that is also down below. Yeah, so that's good. There's some other things kind of with the series. But yeah, it would be nice to have a little kind of epilogue, but we don't. But anyway, that's the series, and I really enjoyed it. And I hope you let me know what you thought of it. So thank you very much for watching, and happy reading.